Dang, it got me started really quickly. All right, welcome to Guarantee News on a Monday. It is August 12th, 2024. Of course, you are on the G Studios page. I'm your host, Garrett Sims, and this is a new season of Guarantee News. Let me check and see if my mic. Okay, it is. All right, this is officially a new season of Guarantee News. Like I said, I do the 10 episode seasons now, and then I do my week break. So last week was the week of break, and I was trying to come up with some new things, some new marketing, and I feel like I did do that. So you guys will be seeing hopefully the improvement in just the way that the content is released, the way that you're able to get news from me, everything like that. The main thing with this is for there to be improvement for you guys, the people watching this, and hopefully to get you guys to tell other people to watch. So tell people to watch Guarantee News every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. And let's see, this is officially episode 1 of this season. Again, I'm calling this season 2, and we're going to do 10 episode seasons. And today's episode I feel really good about. We have the Democratic National Convention that is going to be starting next week on Monday, and so much a bit of what's been happening with Kamala, and so much a bit of what's been happening, I guess, from Trump's standpoint too, but more from the Kamala perspective is this upcoming DNC that is on Monday, and it's me kind of thinking about that and doing some more research and reading and figuring out how much political strategy is going around this DNC kind of has changed the way I'm seeing some of the things that have been happening. We're also going to get into the Olympics today. It feels like every one of the major teams for America won. Women's, men's basketball, women's soccer. Let's see, who else won? Track I have to get to. So we'll get to that. Drake dropped 100 gigabytes of actually good content that I didn't look at that I want to talk about a little bit. And then I may have a story with sports. I have to look, but we're going to start off like we do with every Guaranteed News episode, and we're going to play a couple songs. I tried to get away with playing some of those Drake 100 gigabyte songs on the Friday stream because they were on Twitter and YouTube. They weren't anywhere else, so I thought maybe I wouldn't get the block, but I did get the partially blocked on that. That's been happening for me every time I try to do something fancy now at the stream. That's one of the reasons about YouTube that I'm I don't know about it. It's so strict with just with the what's the rule, the partially blocking shit because of, I don't even know, using other people's music and shit. But I feel like I gotta look into Twitch. I don't know if they're as strict, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So right now all I'm doing is looking for the, let's see, I'm looking for the K-Ferg 500 song that I actually want to play for today. Bear with me. I think we're going to do 2. We usually do 2. Let's see. Bear with me while I find this. All right, we can do that. I'm feeling that on a Monday. Excuse my allergies too. I have to look actually. Yeah, I have to get that. My allergies are beating my ass today. All right. Let's see. Where's the ad at that they're gonna definitely give me? All right, no ad. All right. For the first song, we're gonna play "Feds" by K-Ferg 500. Just stay with me. We're gonna get the episode started soon.
boxing. Yeah. What do you want from me? I give you whatever. I give you whatever. I give you whatever. The bigger the watch, the better the best. The better the best, for sure. New bitch thick, she do what I let her. Do what I let her. That nigga tattle, I know he a teller. I know he gon' tell to the feds. What do you want from me? I give you whatever. I give you whatever. I give you whatever. The bigger the watch, the better the best. The better the best, for sure. New bitch thick, she do what I let her. Do what I let her. That nigga tattle, I know he a teller. I know he gon' tell to the feds. That nigga snitch, so he ain't fella. I got the run sent through the melon. Shoot his top, bust his melon. From the back, I'ma leave it shit swelling. No cap, get more pussy than Ellen. Big chop, same sauce as the midget. Shawty a thoughts, all let my bro hit it. Ain't about a scope, I got range. Ain't no whip, it's a range. Oh, you know my bro, but he changed. This precision, I got aim. Running this house, stain. She need me top, brain. Oh, shoot this top, brain. I got the white, cane. What do you want from me? I give you whatever. I give you whatever. I give you whatever. The bigger the watch, the better the best. The better the best, for sure. New bitch thick, she do what I let her. Do what I let her. That nigga tattle, I know he a teller. I know he gon' tell to the feds. The bigger the watch, the better the best. The better the best, for sure. New bitch thick, she do what I let her. She do what I let her. That nigga tattle, I know he a teller.
All right. We're gonna do one more K-Ferg 500 song, and I haven't heard this one in a minute. I'm damn near excited to listen to this. All right, we're doing one more K-Ferg 500 show, and then we are getting to Guarantee News. I know this nigga did not. Is he serious? Wow. Is he serious? Why is this not on here? Wow. All right. Yeah, K-Ferg, you definitely gotta put Clueless on YouTube. You're tripping. I don't know why that you're tripping. You're tripping. What the fuck? All right. We'll play this. If you don't have this on here either, nigga, you damn near. What's going on? All right, I was about to say, don't do that. All right.
Watch.
Last song, K-Ferg 500 caught up, and then we are getting to the episode. I promise.
Shawty won't love, but I'm on the rise. I know that she love me, know she fantasize. I ain't worried about no nigga, I got family ties. 6 trays, soldier, I stay with my guys. And if he wanna play tough, send him to the sky. I was 16, rolling blunts and getting high. I got niggas pissed off, and I wonder why. And Shawty fuck me and her friend, damn, I think she bi. See the Shawty, she for everybody. Ain't no reason throw no pity party. And we went straight to the top like we Jeff Hardy. I had love for you and all your stupid ass could say was sorry. Life fast, man, I should've copped that fucking Rari. I got 63 shooters like I enrolled in the fucking army. Purple in my cup, bitch, you know we sippin' on some Barney. I'm in Saks twice a week, damn near had lived in Barney's. Niggas wanna try to kill, but I know niggas wanna harm me. Love to grow, but love for me she never show. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. She said she want my love to grow, but her love for me she never show. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. I gotta get the dough, get the money large amount. Ayy, 21 racks in my bank account. Got 20 bad bitches, they falling out. I was broke a week ago, now I'll never see a drought. All these niggas want me down, but I'm never going down. And I got beats on my phone, always ask where I'm going. Always ask where I'm going. I get high, I get flown. I rock clothes, Louis long. I spend money on this shit. Ayy, your outfit look poor, but my outfit look rich. And my new bitch bad, put a 10-piece on her ass. Hellcat, hella fast, do the Stacy, do the dash. I got lean in my cup, okay Fergie, do not I mix perkies with my blunt just to make sure my high last. She want my love to grow, but love for me she never show. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. She said she want my love to grow, but love for me she never show. I can't get caught up loving no hoe. I can't get caught up.
All right, let's get to the episode officially. All right, so starting on Monday, and that would be August what? August 19th is going to be the Democratic National Convention that is going to be starting. And so much of what has been going on ever since Kamala became the official nominee for the Democrats is strategically around the fact that this date was coming up and the importance of what's going on. Now, I feel like, whoa. All right, my bad. I feel like all week I'm going to be talking about this Democratic National Convention from different perspectives, different meanings that are going to come out of this, why it's been important for the last couple of weeks with Kamala and who she even picked as her vice president, but also why it's going to be important for the future, right? So for the first story of the day, we are going to talk about how, the Democratic National Convention is next week, all right? And there is a rush from Biden and from the whole Democratic Party to get a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas to get that war over with before the Democratic National Convention, because there is a lot of fear that there's going to be a lot of pro-Palestine protests going on during the convention, which will take away from just the celebration that it's supposed to be, take away from basically the formal introduction of Kamala being the Democratic nominee. Like, this is supposed to be the thing that, officially gives it to her. So this is supposed to be a big thing, right? Now, I did my episode plan kind of like on Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday night, there was an update. I was watching the news last night, and there was an update on Wolf Blitzer. I don't know if you know who he is or watch him on CNN, that, basically Israel is planning for there to be like attack from Iran, because Israel, stay with me here, Israel killed one of the biggest Hamas leaders, right? This was after Iran. Well, I don't even go back even further because I don't want to catch myself messing up. This is what I do know. Israel killed one of Hamas's biggest leaders, right? And now Israel is expecting for an attack, an answer to that from Hamas in the next, from Iran is what all the reports keep saying, and within the next couple of days. This was Sunday night, so within today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometime this week. It seems like this war is nowhere close to being over, right? Because if Israel killed one of the Hamas leaders, right? Hamas is going to get their get back, or Iran is going to get their get back, and it's going to come within the next few days, and they say it's going to be big get back. And if that happens, there is no ceasefire that will be coming. And if Iran sends missiles, anything, does shit to Israel, Israel is not, it's over with. Netanyahu it's going to be over with, right? And then on top of that, the U.S. just sent like a submarine, like some type of like submarine over to the Middle East to basically give more help, to give more weapons, to give more backup to Israel, which is going to completely affect the Democratic National Convention that's going to be going on next week, because every pro-Palestinian is going to be furious about this, because you're sending more to Israel. And that's going to be, it's the Biden administration doing this, but that's going to be then fall to Kamala. And then on top of that, it's going to just make there's going to be pro-Israel protests potentially in Chicago during this DNC. So when these pro-Israel protesters, which is going to be a smaller group than them, meet these pro-Palestinian protesters, it could be something that's not just a bad look for the DNC, but it could become violent. It could be people that get hurt. It could just make the Democrats look very unorganized, very dangerous, and it could give the Republicans potentially some some media shit to play with, because it's not, again, I keep saying it's not really about policy. They don't care about policy. It's about bashing on both sides. They do it in a different way, different conversation, but the DNC and everything around the pro-Palestinian movement here in America and the Hamas and Israel war, the next week with that is something that is going to be very important to look into as a guess of how this DNC is going to go as far as just a look. So we're at 15 minutes. So let's go 10 minutes. Let's read this article. It's a Washington Post. It was put out August 11th, just on yesterday. Democracy Dies in Darkness. You can say what you want about the Washington Post as far as like trusting it and sources, but it's real journalism. It's a real article. So we're going to get to it. Also, bear with me if I sound like I'm a little tired or if I sound out a little breath. If you know me, if you've watched Guarantee News, you probably see me hit an inhaler. I have asthma. I went to the casino on Saturday, and if you've ever been to the casino, it's like the only place in America where you can still smoke cigarettes freely in an indoor location. So I was at the casino, and my chest just feels like I feel like I have like a little fucking cold after being in that bitch for a couple of hours. But just be patient with me. If I sound like I'm out of breath or if I sound like my chest is tight, it's probably because it is, and I am. So let's get to this. So these first couple, I mean, I'll read them, and let me make this bigger, but these first couple paragraphs are just giving you an example of why the pro-Palestinian people in America are here. You know, sometimes you're asking, why do we have these pro-Palestinians in America for a war that has nothing to do with Americans? These first couple graphs go over that, so let's just read those fast. The scenes and stretches that greeted Hamza, I apologize, Hamza Abdul Kader when he crossed Egypt's border into Gaza in mid-March were far worse than the devastating videos he had watched as war raged in the territory. Abdul Kader, a critical care nurse and resident of Little Palestine, a community outside Chicago that is home to one of the country's largest concentrations of Palestinian Americans, volunteered in Gaza after watching videos of children suffering and dying there. But he said nothing could prepare him from what he saw. Overcrowded hospitals, destitute people lying in the streets, tense cities as far as the eye could see. You're just staring out the window as if you were in a post-apocalyptic movie. Abdul Kader recalled of the car ride into Gaza. We didn't have soap. We didn't have basic hygiene supplies. We would have to literally give Tylenol for explosive injuries and burns. That experience, along with 10 months of anger at the Biden administration's handling of the war, has left Abdul Kader and many other Little Palestine residents determined to protest in large numbers outside the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August 19th to August 22nd. Organizers say tens of thousands will show up, creating scenes of fury and dissent at a moment when Democrats will be working to project unity. Organizers say tens of thousands will show up, creating scenes of fury and dissent at a moment when Democrats will be working to project unity. Tens of thousands. This is basically saying, why do we have these Palestine protesters and what it is? I mean, you have a big group of pro-Palestinians in America. This is starting with Chicago. And this is basically, I guess, a little eye into what good journalism is. It puts you right into the eye of a human being going through the situation to humanize it, so it makes you care. And that's that's good journalism. Now let's keep going. Democratic leaders hope that Vice President Kamala Harris's ascent to the top of the ticket would shrink the protest, since she was not the architect of President Joe Biden's Gaza policies and has been more vocal in challenging Israel and voicing empathy for Palestinians. But to many activists, Harris has not done nearly enough. And this is something that I was asking myself, is why are all these Palestinians in America, when I was seeing the when Kamala, and we'll get to this a little bit later in the episode, she was in where is she at? She was in Michigan. She was in, Michigan mainly is what I'm talking about, last week. And you would have the pro-Palestinian protest going on. I'm like, I thought she was on their side. Why are they protesting against her? But it's because they're still angry about just the fact that America is doing anything for Israel. Verbal support that Kamala is giving is not enough. They want real action and the dollars and the money. So that's why the protests are continuing, even though verbally and from like a news standpoint, you see that people are saying that Kamala is supporting them. We don't expect any changes. We're still anticipating that there will be tens of thousands of people in the streets, says Hatim Abdul Ayya, national chair for the U.S. Palestinian Community Network and a spokesman for the coalition to march on the DNC, an amalgamation of more than 200 advocacy groups and community organizations. I know I said this word right, but you say it right. Fuck you. All right. Abdul Kadir added, unless she clearly takes a stance and says this is not okay, that door is shut. And that's another thing about Kamala. I think that a lot of people are, and I want to say this, I guess, because I posted a TikTok video. This, unless she clearly takes a stance, lately with Kamala just going out in her speeches and saying, I believe in these abortion rights. I believe in a ceasefire. I believe in healthcare for all. You can't just say these things and not have any policy behind them. And that's when I make the question of what are Kamala's policies, and then people on TikTok are like going back and saying, you idiot, she's been saying her policies in every speech. My question to you would be, that's enough for you to not have to not have policies clearly stated and to have them stated in writing so you can read them and matching up with your hearing and just get an idea? That just to say them on campaign trails in short little not innuendos, but in short little pieces isn't enough to me. And I think this is what people on Kamala's side and against Kamala's side are saying, is that if you're making a fair argument about her, it's that she needs to clearly take a stance on a lot of policies. And even pro-Palestinian, they're saying this. She needs to clearly take a stance on how you feel. And because it does seem like she's trying to have one foot in, one foot out from a strategic standpoint, I get why she's doing that, but it's making people frustrated and it's hurting her anyways. All right. The night that Biden dropped out of the presidential race on July 21st, more than 800 people logged into the coalition's weekly Zoom meeting, and Abdullahi said that organizers said they were moving ahead as planned, even though it looked like Harris would soon become the Democratic nominee. They asked if there were objections, and no one raised concern. And let's see. The same night, the coalition put out a statement saying Democratic Party leadership switching out their presidential nominee does not wash the blood of over 50,000 Palestinians off their hands. When it comes to the genocide in Gaza, there is no difference between Biden, Harris, or any of the likely candidates of the nomination. And keep in mind while we're reading this to get a feeling of the anger of pro-Palestinians. Why do they feel the way they do? And why are they planning to go out to the DNC this upcoming Monday and make and protest and hope that there's going to be a change and they are going to see policy and strategy that is going to stop the war in Gaza, which they feel like is a genocide. And this is just giving you the reason for why they feel that way, and I'm trying to make a prediction of what could happen. At least one pro-Israel group is also seeking to organize a demonstration at the convention to show solidarity with Israel, although it is likely to be much smaller than the pro-Palestinian protests, and that's what I was getting to earlier, where this could turn into something that could be violent, especially if you have the pro-Israel protesters and the pro-Palestinian, but then with just the police officers there and the pro-Palestinian, this is something that can turn violent. And then when the protests go from, unviolent, just protests to violence, it's a different battle. All right, some of the protests across the country related to the conflict in Gaza have included vandalism, and both activists and city officials have worried that they could become violent during the DNC. Israel launched its war in Gaza after October 7, when Hamas militants stormed through a border fence and killed 1,200 people, hunting down civilians and taking about 250 people hostage. Since then, Israel's military assault in Gaza has killed nearly 40,000 Palestinians, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, and its siege of the enclave has unleashed a humanitarian disaster and catastrophic hunger. So that's kind of, yeah. I mean, this is just showing how bad that war is and why so many Palestinians are angry. It has killed 40,000 Palestinians. And many pro-Palestinian activists contend that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and South Africa has brought a case at the International Court of Justice accusing Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. And we read about this, the International Court. I can tell you right now, Africa has brought a case against the International Court of Justice against Israel. I can tell you no one gives a fuck about that court, and they're not listening to it. Israel and Netanyahu, who is basically the leader of Israel, have been moving around freely. He's not worried about getting arrested. But the fact that they've done it, I guess, means something. Now, Israel strongly rejects the allegations, arguing that Hamas started the war and that the high death toll is an unavoidable consequence of Hamas's tactic of embedding its fighters in civilian in civilian areas. So Israel is basically saying, hey, we didn't start this war. They came over, they started this war with us. They killed a bunch of people. They took a bunch of the hostages. They took us by storm. And now we're trying to kill Hamas. And the reason so many Palestinians are dying because of that is because Hamas is purposely putting themselves, putting its fighters in civilian areas, and we have to get rid of Hamas. And that's why America's supporting them. The people who support America are saying that Israel has a right to defend itself, fight back, and kill Hamas. And this is why this is just such a sticky situation, because it's always that thing of overkill. What's the overkill of killing 40,000? Was that really needed, or is Israel protecting themselves? And I mean, that's where the stickiness of this comes in. I mean, just to give my opinion, 40,000 is extreme. Just reading what I have read about this, it does seem like Israel does not really care about killing innocents. And I think with this, there should be some type of care of killing innocents. But I will say with a situation, because Israel is one of, I also can't say, America can't just leave Israel in the dust because of the relationship that we have with them that is long-standing. Whatever you think about this, it's not as easy as just saying of just leaning on one side and saying that you need to listen to my side. For Palestinians to just say we need a ceasefire today, and we want America to not send any dollars, any ammunition, nothing to Israel, no work with them anymore because of what they've done. I get it. But that's unrealistic. And for pro-Israels to think that just support Israel needs to just support Israel, America just needs to support Israel in this war 100%, give us what they need, and we can end this fight fast and end Hamas. We can't really do that either. It has to be some type of middle ground. America can't just let Israel go crazy and do too much, which it seems like they're doing. But they can't just turn around from Israel. It's more nuanced than just saying one way or the other, but there is going to have to be a moment where Kamala stands on one side and makes a decision and goes to that go towards that decision. And let's see, let's just see what the rest of this. Yeah, this is just going more into that humanization. I want to get to the end of the article and just read the last couple of paragraphs just to get an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Yeah, this is a big article, like Washington Post in place. Let's read the last couple of graphs. So this is just people talking about, they go back into humanizing it in this article. You can read the rest of this of just different families and different people who are talking about how bad this war in Palestine is, how much this whole part of the article is to get you to believe in the side of the pro-Palestinian saying there needs to be the ceasefire immediately, right? And then I think this is, I guess, the last quote in place I do want to leave you guys with this. I think people really need to see it as the equivalent of the 1968 DNC in Chicago, she said, where basically at this, there were a lot of, because of the war in Vietnam, there were a lot of protests that turned violent and became a big deal. And I just think this is something that that I will be keeping a close eye with this week for Guarantee News is where is how is the war in Palestine going? Is there any ceasefires? And did Iran send missiles, some type of response to Israel? Because that's going to just lead to inflaming what's going to happen at the DNC this Monday. So it's pretty interesting. That is our first story, guys. All right, so let's move on. Bear with me. We're ending at about 28:35 with this. All right. Now let's move on into something else. Our next story, we're staying with politics, but we are going to go to Donald Trump. From talking about the Republicans or from talking about the Democrats to now we are going to get to the Republicans. So bear with me one moment. My computer is loading slow. That sucks. Let's see. Where do we want to get to now? And this is going to be our second story. We're still in news. So let's move to, again, we're going to go to the Republicans. So Donald Trump headlines Montana rally after plane was diverted but landed safely. And I talked about this on Friday. Over the week, there was a lot of stuff going on with the campaign trail, right? Trump did very few, though. On Friday, he had a little meeting or interview where he took questions from reporters at his Mar-a-Lago home. We're going to get to that, but first we're going to talk about the rally and the headlines from his Montana rally after plane was diverted but landed safely. And this is an Associated Press article. I say this all the time. I feel like we all trust the Associated Press. But basically the question with this, before I get into even reading anything from the article, the question with Trump even going to Montana, for all of you that don't know, Montana is Republican, right? Donald Trump doesn't need to be going here. You know, a lot of thing that's going on with the campaign train right now is everyone is going to those 7 swing states that are going to make the real difference with this election, right? And people are like, okay, Donald Trump, you see Kamala and Tim Watts going to every swing state in the world. Why the fuck are you in Montana where everybody is going to vote red and you're going to win? Well, Trump's saying, being Trump, I don't need to fucking worry about going to all the swing states. I'm goddamn Donald Trump. I'm going to fucking win regardless. So I'm going to go to Montana to help the Senate races that are going on, because not only do we need to win the presidency, we need to win the Senate. So he has a Senate, a Republican Senate person. I can't think of his name. This article says it, so we'll get to it. That's doing a race in Montana, and Trump is trying to help him win, right? It makes sense when you first hear it, because that's true. You don't want to just run the presidency. You want to win the Senate because of everything that comes around with that. I'm not going to get into how important the Senate is. Now, if this was before Kamala came in, looking at the polling, I would think this makes more sense because Trump was in a lead. But now when you look at any polling, you see it's dead tight. So now you're questioning Trump on maybe if this is true. Let's read a little bit of this, and then I'm going to show some videos of Trump at that rally, because this Montana rally had like a lot of little, well, the usual for Trump. That had a lot of little key, I'll call them moments. So let's see. I did like this article, but this article, if you really want to read it, just to get into short, it's just describing the Senate matchup between the two guys. Let me read who it is. The former president came to Montana hoping to remedy unfinished business from 2018 when he campaigned repeatedly in Big Sky country in a failed bid to oust incumbent Democratic Senator John Tester. So that's basically what happened. Last election, just Democratic Senator John Tester, he won red state Montana. And the way he won it by basically saying, hey, I may be Democrat, but a lot of the things that I like are with Donald Trump. So I'm Democratic, but I fuck with you guys, and I'm going to do a little bit things different, but we can still rock with each other. And basically what Trump is coming to do now is say, no, fuck this Democratic guy. He's connected to Kamala. And you guys all hate Kamala, and this is a red state of Montana anyways, so you guys need to be voting for my dude. What's his name? We get to Trump's dude his name. And then Trump said this at the Montana rally about Jim Tester. He voted to impeach me. That guy voted to impeach me, Trump said of Tester, whom he called a slob with the biggest stomach I've ever seen. And I didn't look up a picture of this guy. I'm not trying to be childish. I am curious, though, because Donald Trump, as childish as he is funny. Is John Tester fat? Okay. So that's funny. All right. So let's read a little bit more. Trump also invited to the stage Texas Republican Ronnie Jackson, former White House physician. So basically this was just all games, all right? Let's get to the things you want to see, which is the Trump moments, which is just Trump saying stuff like what he was saying in that little thing. He insulted John Tester, called him a fat slob, etc., etc. So we're going to end off the Mar-a-Lago coverage that I'm giving by just looking at all these videos that I got of Trump from here and just letting you guys listen in. So let's look at this first one. So let's look at this, yeah. So here's the first one.
Going to the Capitol.
And I know, just for the sake of objection, these are no order of like how it happened, or these are like in no order of like importance or anything. I'm just scrolling through my Twitter because I took a little bit of them, and we're going to go through each one, and then we're going to move to our next story, which I think is our last news story. So we're moving pretty well right now, but let's watch these videos and then get a little bit of a Garrett take for them.
People relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd, the biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people. If not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, And everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington. And you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd. We actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people. And I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, please.
All right. There's so much to get with this. The first thing I'll say, you may be asking yourself, why the fuck is Donald Trump 80 days away from an election even talking about crowd sizes? And when you talk about crowd sizes, why was this first thing in his head to bring up Martin Luther King? Not gonna even make anything with that. He said it, so let's get to the facts before anything. Let's get to the factualities, all right? So he's talking about Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and comparing it to his January 6th speech when he, wasn't president. And then all those, terrible, I won't call them terrible people, but all those violent people, that's factual, went to the Capitol, stormed the Capitol. Those are the two speeches he's comparing. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and his January 6th speech. So, okay. Let's just get to the pictures, right? Now, the picture that I am showing you is a little bit exaggerative. Where is it? I think it should be just right above that. Bear with me. There it is. Okay, this is from the NAACP. So, all right. So this is a picture from January 6th at his speech. And then this is a picture of the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. Now, I will say, if you look at this picture and you look at it closely, you can see this picture is way back. It's way back. And this is me just being in the interest of objectivity. Obviously, Trump is just lying. That's just a lie. I can just say that right off the bat, but let's just speak from objectiveness. If you look at this, look how closer. I know I should probably know what that is, but I don't. That is a landmark building, but look how closer it is, so that isn't fair. We're not able to see the whole thing, but you can just see with the spaces here that it is clearly not as many people. Now, the thing that I tried to do in my head to get an idea of like exactness, looking at the picture of this little horse, to see if I can find this horse in this picture, I can't, but just off of view, like if you're saying this is so much fatter, then let's just get to Google. How many people were at MLK's I Have a Dream speech? Let's just look, bro. All right, so this is telegraph.co.uk. Reports say King's 1963 speech drew around 250,000 people. All right. That's only one source. Do we believe it? Let's check somewhere else. Okay, 250,000 people. This is the New York Times. All right. Let's see. This is Georgetown.edu. 250,000. Let's see. How many people spoke? So, okay, 250,000 people. All right, so we've gotten like four. Okay, is that enough? I feel like that's enough. All right, so 250,000 at MLK. Okay. How many people were at Donald Trump's January 6th speech? Let's just take a look. Trump is too progressive side. And whenever you search this, it's gonna bring up exactly what I'm talking about because that's what's going on. Let's just look. Trump is obsessed with crowd size. Now Democrats love bragging about it too. And Democrats have been bragging about it lately with Kamala. We're gonna get to that. Let me just see. Let me just get the numbers. Let me go into the articles. Let's see. Oh, you're going to make me pay. They say it was around, he even said it himself. They say it's around 25,000, but it really was. But let me get to. Well, actually, me being as prepared as I am today, I think I might have saved an article for this. Did I? Maybe not. Let's look. Let's keep looking at this. Freaky gangs. We have a lot of bad. Where was it? I'm not going to stay on this too long because I know I'm right. It was only like 25,000, but I really, in the point of journalism, want to show everybody watching, especially for the clips of this, that it's like not even close to the numbers. The Congressional January 6th community pegged Trump's crowd at 53,000 people, about 1/5 of the 250 who estimated. I'm not going to keep going through because Trump said 25,000, and this NBC News article even gave him more. Let's say 50,000 people were there. 53,000 people were there. 250,000, that's 1/5. All right. little obvious lie. And in the grand scheme of things, knowing Trump is not that big of a deal of a lie. The thing I guess is the big point is why is he talking about this? Why does he care so much about crowd sizes? Why does it bother him? This shows like as much as you want to think about Trump, he's obviously a petty person. Like, and the littlest things get to them. And when they get to them, he's going to focus on them for way longer than he should. And then it's going to become a news thing. Like, this is where I get to all the time where Trump like strategically just makes stupid decisions. Why the fuck would you die on this hill about Martin Luther King, one of the most popular speeches? They teach this in white school. Like, if they're teaching about black history and stuff in a speech in white school, you know that shit it was fat and it was made for everybody and it was good, bro. It's no hold bar. That's one of the best speeches of all time. Why would you make that, of all comparisons, of all speeches, why would you do that? Just idiotic, and shows just how cocky and how kind of childish he is with just his ego and wanting to be, oh, I have to have the most people at my crowd. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, let's see. This is a question of, I said, the reporter asked, you have not been at a Republican campaign for nearly a week. Why haven't you been campaigning? Trump says, what a stupid question, because I'm leading by a lot and I'm letting their convention go through. I'm campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts. I guess, and this is where we're talking about that strategic thing where Trump is saying, I don't need to campaign in all these swing states because I'm winning everywhere. But then there's a question of, this is questionable though. Let's see. That's questionable, the polling. And I'm not going to play this video because it's just Trump. So, and this, another thing with this, it just gets into, he insults everybody, which, it's not the best look. It never is and never will be, but a stupid question. That's not really a stupid question. Like the NAAC, like when he went to the Society of Black Journalists, the NABJ, and they were like saying those, I kind of thought him saying like, oh, these are stupid questions or these are like bad questions. I could feel it. The question this reporter asked and at his Mar-a-Lago home, this wasn't stupid to me. This wasn't a stupid question. So for him to say it, I think it was a harsh question and a question you might not want to have answered, but not stupid. And then let's just do a quick look. This is a Ipsos poll. If you've never heard of them, I can tell you right now, they're trustworthy. They do basically polls of what's going on. They just ask questions of polls that's going on during an election. I already said, though, just again, in the sense of objectivity, the polls right now are kind of hard to believe because there's so much of like an excitement battery charge around Kamala that I think will go away, that until after the DNC, until after September 10th, when Kamala and Trump have their first debate, when things settle down, you'll be able to, I think, have a more belief in polls. But let's just look at the polling right now to see where Donald Trump stands at. And let's just read this too this is to give an idea of what this poll is. Okay. A new poll of Americans living in the swing states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada finds Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are in a statistical dead heat for the presidency. The survey shows that many people in swing states are concerned with inflation, immigration, and political extremism or polarization. When asked how the candidates perform on these, Trump outperforms Harris on inflation and immigration, while neither candidate has a clear lead on the issue of political extremism. So basically this poll, it did a whole bunch of people from the swing states, which are the most important states in the election, and it asked them a bunch of questions. Let's get to a few of them. And the reason that we're looking at this again is to give you an idea of when Trump says, I don't need the trick campaign. And when Trump says, I don't need the campaign and these like swing states, I'm already ahead of them. That was the case in like July, in like beginning of June, when it was Biden and everyone was talking about how old Biden was, and we were like making a joke of that. It's August now and so much has changed, but let's look. All right, so thinking about how you feel today, how likely are you to vote? So the Republicans 73, Democrats 71, total of 69. Everyone's going to vote, right? Inflation and immigration are the top issues among swing state residents. So which of these following topics are the most important issues facing the country? They say 52% of everybody polled in this swing state polling said inflation or increase in cost. 32% said immigration. 24% said political extremism or polarization. So these are the top three. Then you have crime or gun violence, healthcare, housing costs, or availability. In my opinion, I think these two should be more up than political extremism or polarization. But considering the news, consider Twitter, considering how these two candidates are talking to us, I get why Americans feel like this, because this is bad. Now, inflation or increase in costs and immigration. These are the two most important policies, and they said that Trump is doing better on both. Now, let's look. Swing states residents prefer Trump on immigration and Harris on healthcare. These are the policies. In your opinion, What presidential candidate has a better planned policy approach to each of the following? So let's look. So for healthcare, and this is for all the people polled, 39% said Kamala, 30% said Trump. That's very normal. It's healthcare and it's Democrats. That's always the thing. Political extremism or threats, 35-35. It's dead even. This is also believable because if you're a Democrat, they're too extreme. If you're a Republican, they're too extreme. And if you're independent, they're both too extreme. So even isn't surprising to me. Economy, unemployment, and jobs. 42% are going for Trump. 35% are going for Kamala. Crime or corruption. 39% are going for Trump. 34% are going for Kamala. War, foreign conflicts, or terrorism. 42% are going for Trump. 33% are going for Kamala. 45% for immigration. 31% Kamala. And the question you may be asking yourself and you look at these, most of these, specific policies, why does it seem like for more of them, not even seem like, why is it for more of them, people are going for Trump? But when you ask people who are they more likely to vote for or who's more, and let me keep going because this says this, it's because of how Trump is viewed as a person and as a potential to represent America. It bothers so much people, and that's why a lot of people I feel like are like voting for Trump, even though they know Kamala's policies are so in question. Swing state residents are more likely to say Harris is moral and say Trump is weird. Like this part is why even though with so many policies, people may want to vote for, or people may agree with Trump. But when it comes to how Trump is and what's going to cause you to vote, so many people are going to vote maybe more for Kamala as of now. This is what the polling is saying. And then another thing with this, these are all graphs and pictures, and this is easy for you guys to look at. But anyone that's interested in polling or cares, I would just search this into Google. Trump and Harris are locked in tight. Just search this headline. You're going to get this poll up. And then I would click here on the download, and it shows you the entire polling, the methodology behind it. It's 18 pages, and it's more clear on everything. I would recommend looking at this. I would do this right now, but we're at 46 minutes, and for the sake of stream, I'm not. But this is interesting. And I get how just, the colors and everything are better, but this shows this information in a better way. So I would recommend looking at this, and who knows, I may do like a YouTube video or TikTok. I'm trying to get better at doing different videos. But let's move on to the point that I was originally on with this, is that Trump is making a decision, at least he did in the last week. I think it may not be the truth. We don't know the real reason, but Trump made a decision to not campaign in a lot of different states because he feels like he's up still, and that's questionable, and it's argued, or you can make an argument to say it's just not true that he's up in swing states, that he should be there, and he should be trying to talk to those people to win. And I think another nugget to try to say that maybe Trump knows that he's not ahead as he thinks he is that he sent JD Vance to all of those swing states when he wasn't there last week. So it's questionable. But yeah, that was Trump stuff in Montana, and that was Trump stuff in Mar-a-Lago. Let's now move into our third and final news story, and that is going to be a look at Kamala's week last week and what Kamala's week this week is going to be. So right now, what I have pulled up, this is a PBS News article. I will say I've never read a PBS News article on Guarantee News before. And if you're more Republican leaning, I'm going to let you know now. Let me get some more stuff. I'm going to let you know now. You may be a tad bit unhappy with this article. This does seem to be left leaning, but it does seem to be a lot of truthfulness. And I don't read blogs and shit on Guarantee News. If this was just completely left and fucked up, I wouldn't read it. So trust in that. But this is basically, and let me go back to my Twitter though. Let me see if there's any there. I feel like there's a lot more videos that I wanted to show, but maybe not. Who cares? I guess these videos are just. Oh, I do want to show this. This is funny. I just want to show this for the laughter before I officially move on from Trump. I just wanted to make sure there's nothing else that I wanted. All right. Nothing else. So let's just watch this because this is hilarious. And I think Trump fans, you guys have a certain type of thing that I think I'm a certain type of humor and stuff. So I think even you guys had to say this was funny when you saw it. I'm not even gonna widescreen this. I just want to show it because this is fucking a crazy pause. Let's just listen to this.
So Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. So Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement.
All right, I'm childish as fuck. All right, let's move on. But pause though, bro. Elon endorsed me full-throated. Am I childish? Maybe I'm a kid. But where are we at right now? 49 minutes, 36 seconds. All right, we ended at 49:30. We'll call it. I'm keeping notes of this, so why I do it, so it makes it easier for me on the back end editing. Just be patient with me, All right, let's move on. So now for our final news story, we are going to talk about the week that Kamala Harris and her new VP pick, I don't know why I did this because that is her VP pick. Her new VP pick, Tim Walz, had. They had a crazy week. Like I said, they went to all the battleground states. They talked about a lot. There was a lot of questions that came up with policy. We saw a little bit of the real Kamala when she maybe kind of went not off, but kind of snapped a little bit on protesters. And then we saw her then come up with definitely a pre-planned statement for protesters that makes Kamala seem like she's a little robotic and not real. We've seen a lot, okay, good and bad, from Kamala and Tim Walz last week when they did basically a swing state tour. So let's get to this article. I think it's very good, even though it is left-leaning. Harris and Walz barnstormed 5 battleground states in a week. Here's what happened. That word barnstormed, I really don't like it. It's kind of weird to me. But basically, I guess what they mean by this is they just stormed it. They went everywhere. So let's read it. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Let's see. All right. So this is written from Las Vegas, from Las Vegas. All right. Big crowds go to applause lines, talk with joy, and some unsolicited Republican counter-programming. These were common themes during the first big campaign swing for Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, as the new Democratic ticket barnstormed through 5 battleground states this past week on a get-to-know-us tour. 5 states they went in 5 days. This was kind of even hard to keep up with for me. They went to so many places. They opened with a boisterous rally in Philadelphia on Tuesday, hours after Harris announced Walz as her running mate. From there, it was a march through Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada. Keep in mind those states that I read in the article, in the polling article of the swing states. She went to every one. Planned stops in Georgia and North Carolina were washed out by Tropical Storm Debbie. The tour was a way to help both candidates introduce themselves to voters, especially independent and undecided voters in states where the Democrats are in tight races against Republican nominee Donald Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Keep in mind that as well. They're in a tight, where does it say this? A tight race. Trump's saying they're not in a tight race. Everything, the polling, the articles, everyone's saying this is a tight race. So, again, leads to that maybe Trump should have been there. And then introduce themselves to voters, especially independent and undecided voters in states where the Democrats are in tight races. Okay. It was also a way for Harris and Watts to get to know each other better. A look back at the campaign swing. So size matters. Thousands of people have been flocking to Harris's campaign rallies, a sign that her groundbreaking candidacy has generated new momentum among Democrats who are unenthused about President Joe Biden's reelection bid. Everybody was, because he looked old. We all know about this. Harris is the first black woman and first person of Asian descent to become a major political party's nominee for president. I hate that I had to say this, but for a lot of people, she's Indian. For the people who's oh, she's Indian, Asian, and black, India is in Asia. I know nobody said anything and nobody made a comment on that, and you probably already knew that, but I feel like I had to say it with these Trump fans with the identity thing. They try to do anything. They try to do everything, so I just felt like I had to say that as well. By the campaign's count, 12,000 people turned out for rallies in Philadelphia and Wisconsin. That's 12,000 put together. I don't like the way they wrote this because it makes it seem like they're trying to bump the numbers. But 12,000 for Philadelphia and Wisconsin combined. And then it was 15,000 for Detroit and Arizona combined. In Las Vegas on Saturday, more than 12,000 people were inside a university arena when authorities halted admissions because people were becoming ill waiting outside in 109-degree heat to go through security. About 4,000 people were still in line when the entrances closed, the campaign said. And all these people, reports like this are why you have that video of Trump saying, I had more people at my shit than Martin Luther King. Why the fuck are y'all talking about Kamala? Because Trump reads this, these type of things of all the people that are at Kamala's rallies, and it like genuinely pisses him off. I mean, you see that it pisses him off because he started talking for like 2 minutes about something that has nothing to do with campaign, nothing to do with why he's in Montana, and nothing to do with why he should be the president of the United States, and nothing to do with even bashing Kamala, which is still not good to do, but is at least on subject. It's these reports that, hey, there's hella people coming out to Kamala's rallies, and Trump is big on saying they come out to my rallies. All right. To Lance Jones, a Tucson native who attended the Arizona rally, it felt like the tables have turned with Harris and Walz. He predicted his state is going from basically red to purple to blue. I wouldn't say it's gone to blue yet. I guess more purple is a better say. Those crowd numbers annoyed Trump, who regularly attracts thousands of his own rallies. Oh, give me a break, he said at a news conference when asked about Harris. Nobody has crowds like I have. Republican counter-programming. The Republican ticket didn't just weigh in from afar. Vance tried to shadow his Democratic rivals during the opening days of their tour. He made appearances in Philadelphia and Detroit hours before the Democrats arrived in those cities. That gets back to that point of Trump, if you're not going to any Democratic places, and maybe you argue, hey, we got to send some people there, but my argument is you're sending JD Vance, you're sending the vice president. You send this vice president alone to some of them, but to all of them for a week, when you see the people on the other side barnstorming together, you got to go to some of them. I think it's something else. What that something else? Is it something sickness? Is it old? Is it that he's old and he doesn't want to travel to 5 places in 2 days? Is it that I heard somebody say, oh, he just had an assassination attempt come out against him and he doesn't want to, travel out of safety. It sounds right, but no. It's Trump. Fuck that. That's just not true. He wants to go. He's trying to win an election year. And no. You got the one chance to try to kill Trump. It didn't work. You're not getting another one. There's no. That's definitely not the reason I don't believe either. So, you have JD Vance running around going to all the same places. So you obviously think there's someone important. But after Harris and Vance landed around the same time in Eau Claire on Wednesday, the Republican stepped off his plane and walked towards Air Force Two, which is a big moment. Vance later joked about the in-your-face move, saying he had a bit of fun while trying to check on my future plane. Air Force Two would become his primary mode of travel if he and Trump were elected in November. Basically what happened is while they were on the same place, they landed in the same tarmac, and JD Vance tried to do like this weird, like it was like a masculine move. I think it was weird. You think what it is. Maybe it was like a power move and it was good, but JD Vance basically like walked across like the tarmac with like Kamala's plane in the background. I was like, yeah, this is going to be my plane one day. Like, yeah. It's just like a masculine thing. Like to me, it shows like I'm big man, little woman, be scared of me. I'm big man, and I'm taking your stuff, and I'm right. I'm right in your face. That's what it looked like to me, which I guess works, but it's like kind of just like so petty and childish that it just doesn't work to me. But to some people, I know loved it because I heard. So what works and what doesn't work. It's up to you. I guess I always say it's with Guarantee News. It really only matters with the independent voters. Those people in the middle in the swing states to do what you're doing working for them. That's all what I care about. Now, the stump speeches. This is a good part because we'll get to it. Harris and Walz delivered basically the same speeches, heavy on personal biography, from one rally to the next, so some tweaks to tailor their remarks to the particular audience and states. Harris added lines about fighting for working people and the upside of organized labor to her remarks in Michigan. In Arizona and Nevada, where migration is a big concern, of course, because Arizona is literally right next to the border. Immigration is a huge thing there. It's a huge thing across the whole country, but for those border states, it's very big. Nevada, it's not a border state, but kind of right next to Arizona. It's same reason where migration is a big concern. She drew on her prosecutorial background to tell the crowd she had gone after transnational gangs, drug cartels, and smugglers when she was California's Attorney General. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won, Harris said. In Las Vegas, where the economy is heavily dependent on the hospitality industry, she promised to work to eliminate federal taxes on the tips for restaurant and other service industry employees. Trump, who floated the same idea several months ago, posted on social media that she was a copycat. Let's stop here for a couple of those fucking paragraphs. Because right here, this little subject of this article, and let's, do I want to record this? Nah, who cares? I'm going to wait. this little subject of this, or this little part of this article, and these 3 paragraphs, or I think are a great place for some Kamala, I guess, not insults, but to look at her objectively and see where we need to be asking some conversations about Kamala. We really do. Bear with me one moment. It's 10 a.m. To make Guarantee News better for everything else, I'm like doing like, I'm trying to post on TikTok at the best times of the day, do all of that stuff. And it is Monday. And they say Monday, really? Monday at 10 a.m. is the best time to post on TikTok. Or 10 a.m. is the best time to post on TikTok on Monday. Okay. Let me do this and then I'll get right back to it. I didn't lose my train of thought. I'll even keep you guys with me. I'm posting a little clip about, Josh Shapiro maybe being vice president. What, capital W, Garrett, what do you think of, I'm not going to say what do you think. Do you think Walt was the right pick? I'm going to get hella bad comments from this one. I just know it because I'm talking about Josh, who is Jewish. So he was kind of pro-Israel. He is kind of pro-Israel. So the pro-Palestinians and the major liberals are going to be in my comment section on my ass, bro. Liberals are kind of mean, bro. They really are scary. They're kind of mean people. Green screen, GS Studios. Let's do Josh. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it like this. This isn't the most comments. This isn't the most anything, but we got to get the post in. It's not my best post. More posts would come, but I can't worry about that. Let's just get the content out and worry about making it better in the future. All right, let's get back to this. I didn't lose my train of subject at all. This is where you can make very fair points about Kamala. First, her delivering the same speeches. This is something that I just don't like because it makes me feel like you think I'm an idiot. She goes in all of her campaign speeches, and if you notice, for the last week or two since she's been the pick, she will say basically the same opening, closing. She has these little talking points that she doesn't go away from. And she obviously doesn't speak without a teleprompter. She obviously is very scripted. And some people say this is a campaign strategy. I was reading this weekend because it was pissing me off. And it was making me think, to me, it looks like you don't know how to talk to people. You're very impersonal. It's not very human. If you mean what you say, if you know what you say, and you care about what you say, you're able to say it to people. And maybe you may need, because I've done public speaking before. You need to look down at it to keep your. I'm doing it here. You need to read. I have my notes to know what's going on, but you can't just read from something because you don't. In my opinion, people don't feel you after a while. They just are like, yeah, I don't like it. Even when I have my shows where you can tell when I'm not as prepared and you just don't feel it. I don't even feel it recording. And that's what I don't like about Kamala, one of the things. Now, people are saying this is a strategic strategy. You want to keep everything the same. But so people don't get confused, so everything is succinct, so everything is clear. I would make the argument that right now it's not clear, but that's the base behind doing this, is that you have everything in a nice, tight, comfortable bow. You're able to wrap it up. You're able to present it to the American people, and it's easier for the candidate. It's basically organization, right? Now, the way Kamala do it, I was arguing, is so robotic and bad that it makes her look robotic and bad. It's not she's like, okay, these are my policies and I'm sticking to them, but it's like the exact same speech. It's like you're not even needing to print out a new speech. It's like you're taking a Google Doc, and if you ever had a Google Doc where it's where you have a letter, when you're applying to jobs and the first paragraph is the same and you just switch it up a little bit, but it's the same letter. It's literally what she's doing, and it doesn't feel like you're being organized. It feels like you don't have a plan, and you're trying to keep the fact that you don't have a plan for me by just giving me these vague overall things without any real policy. I don't like it. A lot of people don't like it, and I'm tired of Democrats and far left making me feel and other people feel crazy for asking, why are you doing this, and can you stop doing this? You can't just no, you're not going to, far left Democrats can't just make that seem like it's normal and okay and not weird. If Trump came out and just said the same thing, now Trump does the absolute opposite, where he goes off script, and he goes off script to the point where it hurts him. So maybe they both need to fix it, which is a theme of everything, where they're too far. But you're not gonna just sit here and tell me that if Trump was saying the exact same speeches every time, the far left wouldn't be up in arms saying what the fuck. That would be something that they would say about Trump, and it would be something that they say about Trump that is fair, and that is an argument that could be made. So that's something I don't like about Kamala, and I'm glad in this article that they're bringing it up. Now, okay, this part too. She said in her speech, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this TikTok together so where I know it can go right. But she also said during her speech, what's up? All right, this thing is just being annoying. But she also said during her speech that she was going to take out taxes on tips for everybody in Nevada. That's just not fucking true. And another thing that I hate is I've been watching CNN, everybody. For like 3 months ago, if you've been watching Guarantee News, Trump said the exact same thing at a rally. And this is another thing where I was like, as I'm covering news more, I am, because even if you don't care, if you just watch news for like 3 months, stuff like this will happen where you'll see both sides are full of fucking shit. And it is really just about money. And it is just about the media basically like not lying to, but exaggerating to the American people. Because when I saw her say this, I thought, what the fuck? She said she's going to take all taxes on tips. This is apparently a big thing in Nevada because everybody's like, okay, you need to take taxes off on tips because there's the tip industry, that industry is big in Nevada, right? Trump said it. And I was reading articles and I was looking at CNN and everybody was like, okay, this is like a politician lie. You can't just take taxes out on tips. It's one of those things where the Senate and the House and everybody is not going to just let it happen. Everyone bashed Trump. And I even came on in here and said, you can't let your politicians lie to us. We need to make them be true. And this is something that probably just won't happen. And I'm here to be objective and say the same thing about Kamala. Call bullshit A. Probably won't happen. And somebody said, this was like I can't remember the episode of Guarantee News where I had an article where it was like someone important from Nevada, like a person like a tax industry. I don't know. They have so many fucking weird names for everything nowadays where who knows, where he was a tax leader of Nevada. Who knows? But he basically said that like logistically it won't happen. So people on the left that are in Nevada that do not vote for Kamala because you think she's going to take away your tips. Probably will not happen. And B, Trump is right to kind of say copycat to Kamala because it's just weird to me. That one is just her taking that from him is just, it gives more to the credence that Kamala has no fucking policies and that she is really only running off the fact that Trump is just racist. He promotes violence. He promotes just unseriousness for the country that may not look the best. Like that's what she's only running off of. And for 88 days, if it continues to be that's what she's running off of, and she keeps just doing these runaround policy bullshit, I do not think she will win. And I don't think the left trying to call everybody stupid and trying to trick you and say, oh, here are policies. Here are, she says them, abortion, immigration, stricter, better immigration laws. Let them in. She keeps saying it. She says it every time. Why don't you not say it? No, it's not. That's not going to work for 80 more days. Like, it's working right now. And even when I was reading my TikTok comments, I was like, kind of like, am I stupid? But no, like, she is not clearly stating her policies, and she is saying policies over again, and she is trying to make the American people think that she has a plan, but she clearly does not, because she's not going on any interviews. She does not have any policies written down anywhere, and everyone keeps also telling me that it's going to be after the Democratic National Convention. That argument I will give you. If you're waiting, if she wanted to wait 14 days for after the DNC, that's pretty fucking stupid, but I can get it because the DNC is this big thing where it officially becomes her, and everyone's waiting for the DNC, so I cannot wait until Monday when it starts, and I cannot wait till the Monday afterward when it's over, because I'm going to remember. Trust me, because it's a new season of Guaranteed News. I'm locked in. If let me move. Yeah, what's the date? Trust me, I'm going to be remembering. It's the 19th when the DNC starts. On the 26th, 27th, 28th, I'm going to be going back and looking at Kamala's website, and if there are still no policies, I just want to hear what the Democrats have to say then. I'm going to probably lose my mind. Like, I may turn to, like, I may get to the point where I'm sitting here screaming, I don't want to vote. How much I'm going to be pissed. It just feels like, because it's like, I want to vote Kamala. I get the battle that she's saying, where it is a battle for maybe the future and not the past, and all the stuff that Trump does. But I can't give it, bro. You can't get my vote just like not giving any policies and like not talking, not doing interviews, bro. Like, this shit's just like, you're just not gonna get my vote, bro. I'm not giving it. I'm just not giving it. Oh my God, shit. Batty shot a clock. My bad. TikTok kind of got, I'm trying to do 2 streams of work at one time. Stop. All right, focus. Yeah, I'm going to be paying attention to that. Let's move on. All right. Harris closed her rallies by asking people what kind of country they want to live in before calling them to action and clearing, when we fight, we win. Waltz, largely known outside the Midwest, went deep into his personal story of serving the Army National Guard and his years as a high school teacher and football coach. As a member of Congress and governor in a campaign partly centered around restoring reproductive rights, he shares that he and his wife, Gwen, suffered through years of in vitro fertilization treatments before their daughter, Hope, was born. Go to applause lines. This is just what I was going to. New buzzwords. This is about basically what I was just went on a little rant of them talking about. Bear with me. My back is killing me. Shit. Did you guys hear that? Shit. All right. Let's put that back on. Well, this is basically just going on the same thing that I was talking about. Yeah. They're saying the same things over and over again. And oh my God, for the Democrats and stuff that this is working with, they're like trying to make me feel bad for saying something. What the fuck? These are all the same thing. And this kind of goes over. There's like this new thing of Trump being mad about crowds, where he's saying that like it's AI, that like the Democrats are AI generating people into their, like, this is basically, he's saying that the Democrats are AI generating people into their shit. Breaking report, the Harris campaign busted using fake crowd photo at campaign rally. And basically, here's the photo of this guy. I haven't seen this photo anywhere. If you look at this photo, the reason this looks AI is because it fucking is. So this is just like, again, if you like are somebody that like sends me tweet, like I get some news from Twitter, but like if you know how I am, and if you see me like a TikTok or Twitter as like a real news thing and you're trusting it and making arguments about it, I'm not going to believe you, because this is clearly AI. So this is AI that this guy is making, and then he posts this, which this is a real photo. This is where you got to be like, you have to look at things. This is a real photo, and there's no reflection on the plane of people. And then you see this and it makes you angry, because when you look at this, it does look like AI, but I think the guy who posted this is doing it AI. And Trump is basically saying that, you know, they don't have bigger crowds than me. He just did this on True Social. They're posting AI people to make the crowds look bigger. And like his Trump people, because they believe anything he says, are believing it. Even this Twitter has like a little thing saying the crowd did in fact exist, and the rally was attended by thousands of people, many of whom posted their own pictures and videos of the event. And then here's a quoted tweet of this, of like, here's a video of it. I mean, this is like where I be talking about, like, why does Trump be wanting to die on these weird ass hills? And why but this is the funny thing, even the CNN, Fox, News Nation reporters are all even like Republican ones are even asking Trump, like, bro, they're just like, I'm going to say this for 80 more days. Why is Trump dying? Like, if Trump loses, a big part of it will be like the strategy he took against Kamala. Like, why are you talking about the fact that you think there's fake people at her crowds when there's clearly not? When she's saying the same thing to the American people at every speech, she hasn't put out any policy. Like, why are these the hills that you're dying on? And why is like the average Trump fan dying on these hills with him? Like, do you not realize how just like stupid these points are. Like, this is why, like, it's like, this is another reason why it's like, as mad as you can be at Kamala for the things that she's doing, Trump, it just gives, like, look at my face right now. Like, it's just like, it's like Trump is so angry, old, and white. Like, there's, like, angry, old, white men. Like, it's like they can't help themselves from just being, like, just, like, so old and stupid that it's just like, bro, just stop doing that, bro. It's like he just can't help it. Like, old, rich, and white. And it's just like he feels like he can do anything and it's gonna win. And, like, I guess if he wins, it's right. But it's like, I just think it's, like, such a bad look. And none of it's really sticking, I don't think. Except for, like, the Trump fans. It's just like the hills that he tries to die on with this shit is just, like, fucking weird to me. And just unsmart. It took me an hour and 14 minutes to talk about all that political stuff. I really only did 3 stories. I think, golly, I like, do I need to start doing these faster? I didn't even get into my sports. Yeah, I'm going to probably stream again later. Maybe. I may stream again later, or I may just start doing, like, I may start streaming in a weird way every day. Like the politics. I'm not going to get into sports today. So we'll start to get a little wrap up. That was a politics thing. So let's do a little recap. I mean, we're going to keep a lookout for Israel. Iran said that they're going to be sending something. They're going to be sending a retaliation to Israel. And like we said at the beginning of the episode, that will affect the DNC. There will be pro-Palestinian, I'll call them protests right now at the DNC. And this week, if anything, if Iran even sends a bullet the wrong way to Israel, I can guarantee you Netanyahu is sending missiles back. He's sending shit back to them. And if that happens in the next 5 days, no ceasefire, and the DNC will be fucking insane. And the Democrats are going to have to figure out a way to talk about the protest and all that shit and the bad look it is. So that's going to be covered for the rest of the week. Campaign trail. We're going to keep a lookout. Is Trump continuing to only go to red states where he wants to help the senators, or does he start going to these middle states, as I'm going to call them? I can't talk right now. Is he going to start swing states? Is he going to start going to these swing states, and is he going to start, doing what I believe he needs to do? So let's keep a lookout on the campaign trail this week. It's going to be big. We're going to, of course, see what Kamala and Tim do. But I think this week is going to just be a lot of just talking. Next week with the DNC is when you get spicy and where it's going to get hard to hide from a lot of things. And Trump, we're going to keep out with them. Sports, we're getting into NFL. We're getting into the season coming in September, so that's exciting. And Guaranteed News will be a thing. Season 3. But yeah, that was an episode of Guaranteed News. That was episode 1 of a new season. Again, we're going to have 10 episodes. This was episode 1. 9 more episodes of this new season. I'm going to call it season 2 of just this locked in version of Guaranteed News. If you watch for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whole episode, thank you. I really do deeply appreciate it. I won't give I may stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. I can guarantee, just to go over the sports that I have, I can guarantee, and it may be a quick stream tomorrow, I can guarantee you that I will be back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube if you're not subscribed. Please tell any of your friends that talk anything about politics, that care about knowing about politics, that care about knowing about sports, or just want to hear somebody be objective and not just look at Twitter news that's going to be a little bit fake, and not just look at CNN or Fox or hear just one side. Please tell them to check out G Studios on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Please tell them to follow me. And you guys have a great rest of your day. Be safe. And get your news from more than one place. Read something.